Hello everyone and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Intergrade. So along the way to the rest of the story, there is a little combat simulator thing like in the main game. So I'll be doing a few extra battles, but it's not very long, so it's not a big deal.
So, I was thinking about it between parts, and I think one of the things that makes Yuffie's anime girlishness work better than it normally does in a lot of games is the fact that every animation that she does, especially the ones in cutscenes where she's at her most anime girly, they're all motion captured, so they're all like actual human like animations that humans would do, right? you know so basically you can believe someone would be like this rather than it being another selfie situation where it's like she's an overly cute robot. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think it's good when obviously they I think the other thing is that when she's being anime, they're exaggerating it so much that it's meant to be a joke. And Yuffie is by far the most comedic character that we've had in the game so far, including main game. So it's allowed to be charming because of how different it is compared to the rest of the cast versus Selphie was just kind of annoying, you know? She didn't really... Her talking about trains and being cutesy, wootsy, uwu didn't really add to anything. It was just to make her likable, question mark? But, like, it didn't really give her personality. It just made her talk weird for no reason.
It didn't feel like there was an intersection point between her cutesiness and her more serious moments. It just kind of felt like she was checking it off a box. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, I think the selling point though really is how Final Fantasy VII Remake hits this. Yeah, there's a lot of anime going on here, but there's also a lot of reality going on here. It's like a blending and a harmonizing that makes everything feel like it could be real, even if, like, the spiky hair and the weird acrobatics are a lot much. A lot of anime-style games have this really budget animation quality to them.
Yes.
Like, so, a lot of the characters' mannerisms tend to just feel fake, and that's not always a bad thing, but in a game like... I'm never gonna let Square live this game down, even though I don't hate it as much as other people. In a game like Final Fantasy XIII, when you have a character like Vanille, and there's not really a whole lot of effort going into blending her personality with, like, the visual tone the game is going for. Actually, this isn't just a Vanille problem, it's an everyone problem in that game. I think, like, Lightning and Saz and Fang are exceptions, but, like, everyone from the other party members to the villains just has this absurdly hammy quality to the way they talk and the way they move that feels performative. It feels like...
I like this bit because obviously on all the train stuff they have their Final Fantasy VII original victory animations. They had to give Stone on his own animation because he's not in that game.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I do hope that we do get to see more stuff like that once we get to later parts of the game. It would be really cool to be able to have new characters be playable. We were talking about this in the main game commentary where we were like, could Rufus be playable? Perhaps. That was something that we had. Oh, she sings the thing too. Aw, that's cute.
It's less cringe when she does it than when Barrett does it, though.
A little bit, yeah. I'm not gonna lie with you there.
But, like, okay, I guess what I'm getting at is that in Final Fantasy XIII, a lot of the characters feel like actors in a live-action adaptation of something zany, like the Phoenix Wright movie, only they don't know it's supposed to be funny, so they're trying to be serious about it. And it comes off as awkward.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
You have, like, the evil librarian from the evil government. And she's, like, waxing lyrical about tools and stuff. And then she gets yeeted out of the story by Barthandelus because she doesn't matter. But, like, and then, like, Snow is constantly talking about being a hero. And yeah, I know that, like, they did something relatively clever with that by having it be, like, intentionally a deconstruction of that. But, like, the tone of the way the characters present themselves makes it a little hard to tell. Because everyone seems to be, like, pulling a trope and thinking it's serious. Like, I don't even know why Lightning singles Snow out. Everyone else has the same
because
problem.
He's having sex with her sister. That's why she singles Snow out. And I mean, to be fair, if you had to imagine Snow having sex with your sister, you'd hate him too. Even more than you probably already do. I mean, yeah. Snow's also obnoxious, like, not even just for Lightning specifically, like, he's putting her sister in danger, and he's also not thinking about what he's doing. So he just comes across as a moron more, because his actions are causing other people harm in her eyes.
It wasn't quite so much that he was putting her sister in danger. He went along with a kind of desperate plan to try and figure out how to make her not turn into an eternally tortured brains crystal zombie, and it backfired badly. But, like,
well, you turn into the hold on. Got to remember Final Fantasy XIII lore.
Okay,
you turn into the crystal if you do the thing right, and you turn into the zombie if you don't do the thing, and then you turn into the statue if you spend long enough as a zombie. Do I have my order of operations correct? Okay.
If you do the focus, you turn into crystal and sleep peacefully until the Lassie wake you up again to do something else. But you know, capricious Lovecraftian mecha gods. Conceptually, it's cool, but like, if you fail, you turn into a zombie who's eternally tortured because you failed to do a thing that you were barely told. It's if they had only leaned into the Lovecraft more, it would have made so much more sense as a story element, but they didn't, and it's so weird.
You can't lean into Lovecraft if you just want your bad guys to be Judeo-Christian gods the entire time. I mean, come on,
no,
Lewis.
That's not true.
What?
That's not true. Persona manages to blend those elements pretty well.
Good point, well made.
But like, so it's just, man, there's so much lost potential in Final Fantasy XIII in like every aspect that it kind of makes me active. It kind of makes me angry to think about the game. I guess that's why I keep bringing it up. But like, Sarah and Snow were in a desperate situation and were acting desperately, and that led to the situation Sarah was in. But ultimately, it's like, it's still less dangerous than doing nothing, so
yeah. I do think it is more, people didn't like Snow more than just, for more reasons than just he's obnoxious.
People didn't like Snow because he mouthed off about being a hero, but he clearly couldn't cut the mustard himself.
Yeah, pretty much.
But like, it's not, like, he was sincere, and eventually people realized that and came to warm up to him, but the running theme with Snow's character arc all the way up through Lightning Returns is that his sincerity is never actually enough to get the job done.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's well and good to be wanting to make things better. If you're incapable of doing anything, please shut the hell up.
Or like work to try to actually make things better, you know, as opposed to
screwing things up.
Yeah, or just acting like you can do it and you can't. I feel like,
and it's unfortunate because people get turned off of Snow really early on into Final Fantasy XIII, and he actually is like, he's the character out of the main cast with the most satisfying character arc across the trilogy. Because he becomes this sort of edgy villain in the third game.
Wait, hold on. What?
He's one of the main bosses of Lightning Returns that Lightning has to take down.
Why?
Villain is a strong word, but like his place in the post-apocalyptic world. Lightning Returns has this kind of faux Shin Megami Tensei post-apocalyptic world waiting to move on and become something else thing going on, right down to the part where God is the bad guy.
Oh, well, that's typical JRPG nonsense, not even...
No, I mean, like, literally, the God that is the creator of that game's universe ends up being the final boss. It's not just like the bad guy takes on an angelic appearance. It's literally the God of the universe who created everything. And he wants to bring everything to order because he's the god of the law path from Shin Megami Tensei. And he just has a really convoluted sounding name now. So that's Bunavelza in a nutshell.
I've talked crap about Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse a lot on this channel and other places too. But one cool thing that game did was, because the name of God is supposed to be, like, unpronounceable and you can't understand it in biblical like Judeo-Christianity, in SMT4 Apocalypse, it is a record scratch whenever somebody tries to say it, which is just really...
Talk about blending Judeo-Christianity with Lovecraft.
Yeah, honestly, it works really well in that sense.
I mean, a lot of things about things that try to do Lovecraft just get the idea wrong anyway, so it's like, whatever.
Yeah, like, Lovecraft...
It's like, Lovecraftian is not just a big monster you're scared of. That's just kaiju.
Yeah.
Lovecraftian horror is... The best example I read somewhere, I can't remember where, I think someone posted on, like, a forum somewhere. There's like, imagine you're an ant looking at a computer screen and you don't understand what any of it is, it just lights on a thing. Then all of a sudden you recognize that, oh, it's all text and it has meaning and it says things, then all of a sudden you can't anymore. So you know that it means something, you just can't at all decipher it. And you kind of go mad trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. It's more interesting... I think one of the big things about Lovecraftian stuff is that it's more interesting not trying to figure out what it all actually means. That's actually one of the things that, in the somewhat of a meta sense, you can apply to like the actual Lovecraftian work as well. Because Lovecraft stories become a lot less scary when you realize that, oh, it's all just... oh, what is this thing that he's afraid of? Oh, it's Jews. Lovecraft was afraid of Jewish people.
Yeah. Lovecraftian lore is kind of one of those things that took on an identity outside of its author, and honestly is all the better for it.
Yes, 1,000%.
Yep.
But like,
what the?
Oh,
wait, what?
We crippled his bottom half.
Yeah, it did that in the main game too.
Time to unleash our limit break.
Yeah, but Lovecraft, I think, I feel like SMT pulls some stuff, like some ideas from Lovecraftian sort of, well, it does pull like actual Lovecraft in some of the older games where there's a Cthulhu with a dick sticking out of its mouth as one of the bad guys, and I think
Nyarlathotep
he's
was
a Persona bad guy, right? Like,
yeah, but it's more like in Persona's case, like the negative aspects of humanity manifested as a Lovecraftian god of madness, rather than it being the actual like cosmic Nyarlathotep. But that's just how Persona rolls. Like stuff about humanity takes the form of gods and monsters, because that's Jungian psychology.
You're not me.
Although to be more accurate, though, personas in the Persona series are more like the archetypes, I think, than actually what personas are.
Well,
it's a little confusing.
Personas in psychology are just like a thing that people have. Like, everybody has personas. For example, the persona I have when I'm talking to you guys on Discord is very different than the persona I have when I'm like talking to my mom, you know.
Yeah,
it's just kind of a thing, you know. It's just like, oh, we behave differently around different people, and we express ourselves differently, you know. That's just real life. You don't talk to your boss the same way you talk to your friends.
So what you're saying is, Ted, you summon a random creature whenever you talk to your mom to get to like a ladder.
Look, I'm not gonna say you're wrong. So,
and
what are we having for dinner tonight? I want pizza. No, we had pizza last night. Persona.
The Persona series does sort of dip into that in small ways. Like in the modern series, you get more points with your social links if you remember to switch over, or at least have on hand, rather, a persona of a matching arcana when you go hang out with them. Basically, run to the Velvet Room before you hang out with anyone. But, like, it doesn't really explore the psychological idea of what personas are, actually.
I guess it's just supposed to be talking about how the player, like, I guess in a meta sense. I mean, I don't know if it's trying to be that deep about it. You know? Well,
the actual answer is the original two games had a different idea of what personas were and how they related to the psychology, and then things changed up after the creative team changed and modern Persona happened. So it's all a little muddled.
Yeah, I feel like modern Persona isn't really trying to go that route as much. You know, like
it's more interested in exploring the shadow self concept that Persona 2 introduced, really.
Yeah, which is fine. You know, that's just kind of what they're going for, really. Which, again, I think that's probably one of the reasons why the games are so popular, is because they are aiming for something more relatable than mainline SMT a lot of the time. Mainline SMT is very grand and philosophical and religious, and Persona is more character focused, and people tend to gravitate more towards character focused stories, which is why generally I think that those games have gained a lot more traction. But this should be coming out like a month or two after SMT5 comes out, and with any luck that game will sell really well and everybody will be playing it, and it will be great.
Honestly, it looks like it's goddamn good.
Yeah, it comes out like literally tomorrow, and I'm probably going to be playing it and hopefully enjoying it, because I did not actually like Nocturne all that much when I played it.
Yeah, Nocturne's a bit stiff in a lot of ways.
It felt like it was a game from 1985.
Yeah, it still has like that utterly random demon negotiation. I think SMT5 benefits from some of the advances Persona 5 made to the negotiation system.
Yeah, it's like they made steps. Like 4's is pretty good from what I've seen. SMT4's is pretty good, I should say. From what I've seen, 5 is better than that. So hopefully SMT5 improves it more. The biggest thing for me is that they made this whole remaster, and they didn't actually remaster anything, so you're still actually walking 2 steps and getting a random battle each time, like it's a RPG parody video from 2008. You know,
that happens, but like I'm still happy to have a version of Nocturne that doesn't look like ass on a flat screen, because Nocturne was one of those games that just did not upscale well at all.
Yeah, it's a shame that the music quality had to go down the trash can, though. There are non-compressed versions of that soundtrack out there they could have used, but
it's probably because they wanted to keep the data size down for the Switch.
So are we just in here and Scarlett's like, yo, fight my robots?
Basically, yes.
Yep.
She's up there oh-ho-hoing about how she's so much better than we are.
Yeah, complete with that same anime pose.
And
but, like, you
she's
know.
very specifically using you as a guinea pig right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
you know.
Yeah. Which, again, I don't mind that because it's a reason as to why they're not just killing you. It's because, we can use these intruders for something. I like
should we
that.
tell her that Hojo is going to be doing the same thing in the other room like 2 days from now?
Honestly,
Not even 2 days from now.
probably both thinking of the same thing. And it's like, oh, I'm so much smarter than Hojo because I've got these random intruders that I've used as test subjects. And Hojo's like, I'm so much smarter than Scarlet because I got these intruders that I'm using as test subjects.
I hope they like set up like some interplay between Hojo and Scarlet at some point because like they never interacted much, but like they're opposite numbers sort of in the whole Shinra R&D departments thing, so they should kind of like technically have a bit of a rivalry going within the company, shouldn't they?
It would be nice just to see the villains interact more in general because they never really did much with
You just have them all. You just all have them all sitting together at like the lunch table at the Shinra cafeteria. Or
Yeah,
something.
the only quote unquote interaction. Oh, it's this scene. The only interaction like you really saw between the Shinra executives in the original game, I think, was that Scarlet and Heidegger teamed up for a boss fight in a giant robot at one point.
Yeah.
And presumably blew up inside that robot and died. They just sort of disappear after the boss fight, so it's left ambiguous, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they're dead.
Teenage ninjas. Are they mutants? Do they have
It
turtles?
also had the best name. It was called the Proud Claude. Why? I don't know.
You know, actually, that's a little weird now that I'm thinking about it, considering that in Final Fantasy VII, you didn't really kill people an awful lot. Like, I mean, I guess it was kind of assumed that you killed, like, the soldiers you fought or whatever, but they never really talked about, like, you never really, like, fought and killed people all that much. That's...
Not like in a story sense.
Yeah, like, they certainly don't... Like, Cloud's a soldier. He's a soldier. But, like, he's a soldier. He's a soldier in lowercase letters.
I think
so he
part of the
wouldn't have
reason...
a problem with killing people, I don't think. But, you know, like, I feel like Tifa probably would, or Eris, or whatnot.
I feel like
never really
part of
bring
the
that up.
part of the reason for that is that Japanese pop culture, when it's aimed at teens and kids, tries to shy away from doing anything that specifically glorifies killing other
That's
people.
why Goku rarely killed anyone in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
And that's fine. It's just it's weird that they would have blown up and then like it's just assume that you just fucking murdered them, versus like they come out all covered, maybe covered in soot, like it's Team Rocket would be a little bit much. But, you know,
Final Fantasy VII's answer to it was to just quietly sidestep the issue whenever it came up.
yeah,
so,
pretty much.